Definition of the sociological method. The sociological method seeks or search for qualitative or quantitative contributions that address all of the range of methodological problems faced by empirical research in the social sciences.
Which are their functions in society? It can be used to study human nature and personality, peoples and cultural groups, the family, social organization and social institution, population and theoretical groups, the rural community, collective conduct, ontologic and adjustment groups.
Which are the main sociology methods in existence? Case study, survey, observational, correlational, experimental, cross-cultural methods. Case study. An investigator studies an individual or small group of individuals with an unusual condition or situation. Survey. Involves interviewing or administering questionnaires. Observational research involves directly observing subjects' reactions either in a laboratory or in a natural setting. Correlational research is a relationship between two variables. Experimental research attempts to determine how and why something happens. Cross-cultural research, it provides to study what actually occurs within a community.
So these are the methods or study descriptions. So a case study is a research strategy and an empirical inquiry that investigates a phenomenon within its real-life context. Case studies are based on an in-depth investigation of a single individual, group, or event to explore the causes of underlying principles. Survey is defined as the process of conducting research using surveys that researchers send to survey respondents. The data collected from surveys is then statistically analyzed to draw meaningful research conclusions. Observational, it is where researchers observe the effect of a risk factor, diagnostic test, treatment, or other intervention without trying to change who is or isn't exposed to do it. Cohort studies and case control studies are two types of observational studies. Correlational is a type of research design where a researcher seeks to understand what kind of relationships naturally occurring variables have been with another one. Experimental is a study in which conditions are controlled and manipulated by the experimenter. For example, in a comparative clinical trial, the method of assigning treatments to subjects is determined by the investigator. And finally, we have cross-cultural, which is a specialization in anthropology and sister sciences that uses field data from many societies to examine the scope of human behavior and test hypotheses about human behavior.
Now, sociological methods. To start, we have case study. These maybe can be related with cross-cultural research because both study groups. They're in their relationships with the country's current situation, why some communities do not have access to clean water. Moving on, we have survey. It can be related to experimental because to determine the why and how you may need to make interviews or questionnaires. The relationship with the country's current situation is this can be used to know if the people are happy with his government or no, and what are the reasons of this.
So in observational, it involves directly observing subjects' reactions, either in laboratory or in a natural setting. It obtains a snapshot of specific characteristics of an individual group or setting. For correlational, it is a relationship between two variables, and it can evaluate the validity of a brief extraversion test.
Experimental. Similarities with other methods. It can be related to observational because in both research methods they need to observe. Relationship with the country's current situation. It can be used to maybe see the reaction of people with drugs. Cross-cultural methods, similarities with other methods. It can be related to case study because it studies a community. Relationship with the country's current situation. It can be used to study an ethnic group and their behavior.